Hi, and welcome to Fibromyalgia, Beyond the Pain. I'm Emily Sanders, and today we're breaking down what fibromyalgia really is. Because honestly, there's just so much confusion out there. When people first hear fibromyalgia, most just think pain. And yes, pain is a massive part of it. But that's really just scratching the surface. Fibromyalgia is this whole body condition where pain isn't just localized, it's widespread. It can feel like aching, burning, or even throbbing across muscles and soft tissue. And it doesn't just stop at pain. There's a fatigue that's, stubborn. It doesn't go away with a good night's sleep. And then there's fibro fog, which, trust me, isn't as whimsical as it sounds. It's this kind of cognitive cloudiness, like you're trying to remember a word that's always just out of reach, or you lose track of what you're doing mid-task. One of my students once described it as feeling like there's a constant cloud over her brain, and honestly, I think that captures it better than any medical term ever could. People also experience weird sensory sensitivities. I mean, even things like light, sound, touch, or temperature can suddenly feel overwhelming. It's tough to explain to someone who hasn't felt it. What's important, though, is what fibromyalgia isn't. It's not arthritis. There's no joint damage or inflammation. And it's not just being tired. You wouldn't believe how many times I've heard, "Oh, you're just tired, right?" No, it's different. It's this invisible illness, which means a lot of people with fibro look totally fine on the outside, even while dealing with all these symptoms inside. And that invisibility, that's what leads to people being doubted or even dismissed by the people around them, including their healthcare providers sometimes. Now, you might be wondering, how does fibromyalgia even start? The honest answer is, science hasn't nailed down one single cause yet. But we do know there's a mix of things going on. Genetics play a role. It tends to run in families. Then there's the way the nervous system processes pain. For people with fibro, those pain pathways in the brain and spine, they're a bit overactive, as if the body's pain volume knob is turned way up. And there are usually triggers too, like trauma, infections, or big emotional stresses that come before the symptoms really kick in. Let's talk about managing it, because that's what most people really want to know. How do I handle all this? Well, sadly, there's no cure. But there are lots of things you can put together to make life a lot better. For some folks, medications help. Things like certain antidepressants or nerve medications can take the edge off symptoms. But honestly, what moves the needle more is the holistic stuff. Exercise is big, but not the push through until you collapse kind. Think gentle movement, tai chi, swimming, even walking. These can help mobility and actually reduce pain over time. Nutrition matters too. A balanced diet with whole foods can help with fatigue and maybe even inflammation. Good sleep routines? Those aren't just a wellness cliche. They really matter because sleep is usually a total mess with fibro. And don't underestimate mind-body therapies like mindfulness, meditation, or even CBT. They're huge for managing stress and changing how the body responds to pain. Oh, and here's a tip I always share in my workshops. Keep a health journal. I know, it sounds tedious, but writing down symptoms, activities, even food, can help you spot triggers and patterns, which is so helpful when you're talking with your doctor. It's proof you can hold in your hand. All right, let's tackle some myths because, wow, there are a lot of them floating around out there. Here's a big one. Fibromyalgia is all in your head. Nope, totally false. It's a recognized neurological condition based in how the central nervous system processes pain. Another myth, only women get fibromyalgia. Yes, it's more common in women. Globally, women are diagnosed 7 to 9 times more than men. But men get it too. Sometimes men are underdiagnosed because there's so much stigma or assumptions that it's a women's illness. I remember a guy in one of my support groups who shared how, for years, he felt dismissed, like nobody would take his pain seriously, until he finally found a provider who listened. He described it as finally being heard, and it gave him so much relief just to be believed. And the numbers, let's go there for a second. Globally, somewhere between 2% and 6% of the population has fibromyalgia. In the UK, it's even higher, about 5.4%, which is pretty significant when you start doing the mental math. Busting these myths actually matters a lot. It means patients feel less ashamed, families understand each other better, and healthcare providers, hopefully, get better at spotting fibro so folks don't have to spend years in diagnostic limbo. Plus, the more accurate awareness we have in society, the more likely we are to see research and treatment options improve. So, if you're living with fibromyalgia, what does living well really look like? I think it means finding ways to still do what matters to you, even if you have to do it a little differently. Pacing yourself, that's key. I've seen people get stuck in this boom and bust pattern, where you do too much during a good day and then crash for days after. Instead, try spreading activities out and taking breaks before you hit your limit. Creating a consistent daily routine can also help reduce stress and flares, even if that routine is different from what it used to be before fibro. Building a support network is huge too, whether that means in-person groups, online communities, or just having a few people around you who get it. Sharing experiences and strategies can make a big emotional difference when you're feeling isolated. And honestly, advocacy and self-education are like superpowers for patients. Knowing your own needs, understanding the basics about your condition, and being able to communicate that to healthcare professionals can make a massive difference in the kind of care you receive. At the end of the day, fibromyalgia isn't something you overcome. It's something you learn to live alongside. With the right tools, habits, and support, you can absolutely shape a life you enjoy, even with fibro on board. That's it for today's episode. Thanks for joining me, and remember, There's so much more to this condition and to the people living with it than most folks realize. We'll keep digging deeper in future episodes. Take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you soon.